Jillian.
And I'm Natasha.
Each episode, we slide down the slippery slopes of our minds. I've gotten some garden gummies, a head full of wild ideas, and zero filters.
And I'm here to ride that wave and see where our mental mudslides take us. It's all about fun, unexpected turns, and deep dives into the wacky and wonderful. I do have something very muddy and very slidey to ask you. And we can, I don't know. We'll see if it's something that we want to talk about. So feel free to A, decline, or B, say whatever.
Natasha, say less. You know I have no filter.
Is keto poop different than regular poop?
Yes. Keto poop's different. Yes.
It's different than regular poop?
It's different than regular poop, yes.
Okay.
And you can get really constipated on keto to start, and then you end up with like diarrhea. It's weird. It's like all over the place.
Girl, I'm like, how many baby wipes am I going to use in a day? I don't have a bidet. So like I do my business, use toilet paper, but then I like to freshen at the end with a baby wipe.
Mm-hmm.
Toss in the garbage responsibly. Of course. I'm like, what the French toast is happening? Because like mini poops that are like not nice, big, solid poops.
It's not,
and I'm like, what the fuck? When is this going to end?
It wants you to notice its presence. It's not just like regular poop where you're able to just go in there, be like, pass each other in the hallway and move on.
Well, I'm like, I can't trust a fart kind of vibes right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the worst. It's not the worst because it doesn't like hurt or anything. So it could be worse. But I'm just like, I thought I was going to get real constipated and I have not met that phase. I'm just like mudsliding, like in a whole different direction.
Okay. This phrase recently came into my life, Natasha, and I think it's a good avenue for us to kind of pivot and explore. Okay? Now,
let's
pivot. This phrase has been said to me a few times recently, and I can't remember. I feel like it might have been on the Big Bang Theory, okay? But I'm not sure. Anyway, here's the phrase. A fart with a lump in it.
I've never heard that.
Please react. Please tell me describe the feeling you got when you heard the phrase, a fart with a lump in it.
Ew, just gross and also unrealistic. Like, I feel like if your fart has something in it, it's not going to be a lump because your body then would know. Do you know what I mean?
Are you sure? What if it was kind of like a sharding situation?
Shardings are never a lump. They're not the consistency of like a lump.
But I'm saying like, couldn't you also interpret that to be like almost just a fart sandwich? The lump is the fact that there's something in the middle.
I just feel like it's not as advertised. I don't see that. Like, like I think you would notice a lump passing around where like, and it wouldn't, you'd be like, oh, I better not fart right now. I mean, I guess it could happen, but I guess it just meaning like you wouldn't have an issue from it maybe. Oh yeah, I guess it could happen. But you would just be like, oh, don't let this fart out. There's something in it. A lump. There's a lump in it.
Is that what Fergie was singing about? Her lumps.
Oh, yeah. Her lovely little fart lumps. Is that what she was talking about? Who knows?
Maybe. Oh. I don't know. I mean, some people are really proud. There's a lot of jokes about loving your farts and loving your...
There's a lot of stuff about farts and poop and yeah. I went camping this weekend with some friends. Well, we can talk about camping. It's not really camping. I visited people while they were camping. Let's be honest. But I was outdoors in nature and it was at a campsite. Therefore, I was camping in my opinion.
Counts.
But yeah, like they were teaching the kids the Diarrhea song and I hadn't heard that in a while. And then there was a controversy on what the lyrics were. It was a whole thing. It's like, yeah, I don't know if we should be teaching all of our boys this song because now I'm going to have to hear it. Once they learn it, it can't be unlearned. You know what I mean?
It can't be. It can't be.
Oh, God. Ooh, Jillian, I thought of something that I
Mhm.
was hoping maybe our fellow mudsliders could help us with. Yeah. Yeah. So, guys, when is the last time you tried to use a payphone? It's probably been a very, very long time, right?
Yeah.
Well, Jillian and I were talking about this recently, and I said, I have not seen a payphone out and about, out in the wild, in public,
Hmm.
and I'm not sure how long it's been. And so I'm
Yeah.
wondering if our mudsliders can send us photos of current, still active payphones,
Like
right? Like,
functioning actual payphones.
right.
They could have a credit card like reader
Sure.
on them.
Sure.
Totally fine to be
Sure.
modernized. We're just saying like a payphone.
Yeah.
Now, we talked a little bit because one of my favorite Mexican restaurants closed, and inside of their lobby, over by the bathrooms, there was still an on the wall payphone. I cannot verify this because the building is closed and the restaurant is closed, but as recently as I would say 18 months ago, I could say for sure 18 months ago I had been there and the phone was there. I don't
Yeah.
know if any time in that time it moved.
Where we want to know, is somebody able to find one, right? Whether it be at a gas station or in a mall or something like that, something that's like publicly available that you can do payphone. Because my real point is, who paid to have all these phones removed? Like, I get that people
Right.
stopped using them, but like, why would you invest money in the removal and disposal process of all of these payphones? Why not just leave them in place and let them
Right.
be? I don't get it. I don't understand.
Is
It's
this big
nagging.
telecom? Is big telecom behind this?
What's the conspiracy, folks? Tell us.
What
Tell us
is
if you
it?
know.
What
Tell,
happened to the
tell if,
payphones?
oh my gosh, tell us if you were one of the people who removed those payphones. I need to know.
If you have a podcast or a source like a TikToker or somebody that knows all of these answers, we want to have them be a guest on our follow-up episode
Yeah, I
that
want
we do every week
yeah, I want the intel.
after the mudslide.
Yeah. Have we ever told our mudsliders how we decided to start doing this, or like how we met, or like where this all like originated from?
Well, that would be impossible because this is our first episode. But I think that's a
Fair.
really great. I love the realness of like,
Jillian, I'll let you set the scene.
I love that we're going to show you guys how freaking weird it is to learn through something. So, welcome. That was awkward. We're keeping it, damn it.
So, Jillian, one of your many great traits, but one of the best, is your ability to set the scene.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm going to say, set the scene. How did this long ago and far away little beginnings happen for Jillian and Natasha?
Yes. Natasha lived in Texas. And we had met when she lived in Colorado. She had to move to Texas, and I went to go visit her. And it was October, which is not relevant to the story.
That's the scene setting
Yeah.
that you're so good
Yes.
at.
And so we had earlier gone to the store and gotten Halloween themed leggings, which to this day, many, many years later, are still one of my favorite pairs of leggings. And they were like $6. So I don't know. Anyway, so we went and got leggings. We were all decked out because Natasha's neighbors were coming over for a pumpkin carving party. And so as we were sitting around carving pumpkins, and I feel like we were having cocktails, I'm sure, at the time too.
I'm sure we were. This is like all coming back to me too. Like as you're telling it, I'm like, oh yeah, that
You
happened.
don't even remember. Okay, well, see,
I rely on you
I
for these things. And I'm like, yes, that's
yes.
right.
Okay, so you had some friends over. We're carving pumpkins. I feel like we're drinking wine or something like that. I mean, it kind of that like I couldn't say whether or not at this moment, but I need that's it whether or not it was true, that's the vibe that you were getting, okay? So we're just
Yes.
talking and Natasha brings up one of the most imponderable things with no answer, right? That we just it's like, wait, how is that a true is that a fact? Like it's such a question that I almost didn't know how to process it. So, Natasha, I know that even though you're relying me on this for the scene, you know the punchline
Yeah.
and this is that punchline part of the
Yeah.
story and you deserve to tell this.
Okay. Yeah. So the general thing that came to mind, and I don't remember the whole conversation that was going on, but for whatever reason, I just kind of dawned on me that I didn't understand why women evolved to have periods, but not have periods, but not be able to control the flow of a period. Because women are able to prevent themselves from
Yeah.
urinating, right? We're able to prevent ourselves from pooping. We're able to hold those things. We can't prevent them from being created, but we can hold them until we've decided to release them. But for whatever reason, evolution has decided we don't get that option when it comes to our period. And so it made me wonder, why did this happen? Why is this the one valve that we are unable to control the outflow and inflow time? And I felt it was very unfair. And then we kind of started talking about different options that Mother Nature should have thought of, like a zipper vagina, like a closing
Yeah,
valve,
it
like
needs
something along
there
those
should be
lines, so that we get to
a
decide.
sphincter there.
We, there should be a sphincter of some sort there. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. We can stretch it to the ends of the earth, but we're not able to contract it. And just, why would that
It makes
be?
no sense.
And who do we petition? Who do we petition to like get this evolution going? How do we pass on the genes that eventually turn into an operational, closable
Yeah.
vagina?
Sphincter.
That's all.
Sphincter.
That's all.
Vagina
That was the idea.
sphincter. We already
Yes.
have like I
Yes.
feel like yeah, I don't know. I feel like our cervix already opens like why couldn't it just like, have like a slow opening and then it's just like, "Hey, I got it all for you. Here you go." Like I mean, you
Yeah.
just get it out all at once.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was kind of what I thought of originally. And I think from there, Jillian was like, we need to start recording these
Yes.
conversations.
And we did and we've talked about it for years now and gone back and forth because we let life kind of get in the way. But um
Yeah.
we want to bring this forward not only to have this time where we kind of get to hang out with each other and have these conversations because they're so much fun, but these are things that we feel like you guys need to know too.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. And we don't have a resolution to that mystery.
No.
Like, we don't know any doctors who know what to do about this. We don't know any scientists that can help us, like, start, you know, procreating in a direction that eventually gets us there. We know none of
Has
this, guys.
anybody ever even had the idea before? Like, I don't even know. We like have you thought this before, fellow mudsliders?
Well, you know, the feminine hygiene product, you know that the feminine hygiene product industry is going to tamp it down totally, because what are they going to
Did
do?
you
If we can
say
just hold it in and release whenever
tampon
we want?
down? They're gonna tampon down.
Yes, they're going to try to like
Yes.
block our,
It, it's big
progress.
tampon.
It's big tampon. They're against us.
Well,
You know why this probably came to me? Because I'm from Tampa originally.
mhm.
And so we're tampons. So it's just always like in my mind, I think, like this whole like issue in general, female hygiene.
Yeah.
and our lack of rights.
Yes. Well, that's a whole vibe, right? You're gonna harsh my buzz. This is so bad. We could talk about that later.
That later. I just need my right to decide when my blood falls out
Yeah.
of my body. That's all.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Evolution. I'm putting something in the request box to the evolution gods. Like, help us out here. Come on, guys. You know?
Exactly.
Anyway. So yeah, that's kind of the little initial seed of like where this came from. And then that, as well as our dear Jillian's new husband, Mr. Jillian. I don't know if we're using his name on this or not. So, Mr. Jillian was listening to us just kind of banter back and forth, and he was like, "You guys are funny. I would listen to this."
Yes.
Right?
And so, like, having an outside perspective say, no, this is fun to listen to. And he was totally like a fly on the wall in this world. He was just laughing and having fun listening to it. So we hope we can share that joy with all of you here.
Yes, absolutely. I also think it would be really cool, Jillian, if our listeners wanted to like send us ideas of topics that they'd like to hear our opinions about and like the weird and wacky mudslides that we go down, because I feel like sometimes our brains go in a whole different direction
Yes.
than like other people would go,
Exactly. I
And
would
so we
love
can always
that.
give us we could always give them our mudslide twist on a topic.
Yes, that is fantastic. So we will have that in the show notes where they can submit it to us, and then we'll put it into the pile for future consideration on mental mudslides.
That's right.
Yes. All right. Okay. I have a different little topic, Natasha. I want to talk.
Do tell,
I
do
want to talk
tell.
about the text message. Why
Which
is your
one?
face so scared?
Oh no.
No. Okay. After I came to visit
Well, I have
you,
no idea.
I came back and I wanted to send you a message, and it was really, really late at night, and I was high, but it felt very, very profound to me that I need
Oh, I know
I
exactly what you're
needed to
talking
send
about.
you
Okay.
this. I
Okay.
needed you to feel how
Yes.
profound it was. I didn't want to wait until the morning,
Yes.
right? Because then I
Mm-hmm.
might lose the vibe of what I was feeling and how profound it was. So I
Yes.
actually typed out the text message and then I schedule sent the text message, which I never do. So it kind of
Oh.
comes into I'm really trying to automate everything in my life because that's like my business focus right now is automation. And so I am trying to find these little ways that I can automate stuff. And so not to lose the vibe, I sent it to you at like 11:30 at night. But you would have received it in the morning because it didn't actually arrive to you until the morning. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
I think you should go to your messages and read the
Yes. I
text
already know which one this
message.
is.
And then also, after you read the text message, tell us a little bit about how you felt receiving the text message. Cause I kind of described the profoundness that I was feeling where I was.
Yo. Oh yes. I have a whole follow-up for this for you that you didn't even think of. Hold
Mm-hmm.
on. That you don't even know about. Okay.
What time did it come in?
Super sappy 7:56 a.m., which I want to say I do appreciate you scheduled it because it totally would have woken me up because as you know, I'm in bed
Yes.
by 8. I'm in bed right now as we are
Yes.
recording this so that I can go to sleep after the podcast. Okay. So, Monday, 7:56 a.m. Super sappy, deep text incoming. I feel like you gave me this big gift this weekend. Your love of scents meant we smelled the sopapillas and the queso and the cocktails we couldn't have. After all these years of not being able to eat the gluten, I forgot that smelling the bread is a really satisfying thing to do. I always avoided it because I thought it would make me want it even more. Anyways, thank you for smelling the bread. Heart face. We had such a great weekend. Thank you for having us. And then lots of hearts.
Mm,
Oh.
it's so true. It's so true. So, how did that feel? Like, I felt like, wow, this is weird. She's going to think I'm so weird. It felt a little vulnerable to even say that because it's like, it felt so profound
What?
that it made me feel kind of vulnerable. And so,
No
sending it to
way.
you was great, but even a little bit scarier for me is putting it here where everyone can see that I like that just felt like, man, I totally was missing out on something and that awakening felt
Oh my.
embarrassing.
No, I think so many people can relate. So, guys, in case you are unaware, Jillian is not able to eat
Nope.
gluten. Um, no. So, and that's been part of her life for quite some
Yeah.
time. Well, recently I found out I'm not able to eat gluten either. So now we're like twins in gluten-free life. And so there's a lot of things we can't eat. But we still like to go out and have fun with our friends, and not let it limit our lives. But I'm new to this non-gluten
Yes.
game.
And
So
I am
when we
like
went
an
out with a group of
elder
friends,
in this world.
so when we went out with a group of friends, I kept asking everybody if I could smell the different things they were eating and drinking that I couldn't have. So I could just be like, oh, that smells great. Oh, that doesn't smell good. Like those kinds of things. And then Jillian started doing it with me. So it kind of became this thing where you sort of still get to experience that, even if you don't get to fully like partake in what other people are having.
And I
Um,
am
so it's just kind of a fun thing to do. And apparently, like, it kind of just reawakened part of Jillian's senses that she hadn't like really explored in a really long time. So I don't think that that's like super vulnerable. I think a lot of people could relate to that,
but I think a lot of
Like I think that like probably
I think that those are the type of texts that like society makes us feel weird about because we're so worried about how other people would feel that I don't think a lot of people stop to write texts like that or share those things. And so it's a concerted effort on my part to make sure that I'm doing that right now.
you know what? I wonder if that's going to happen to me, Jillian, because I've never worried about that, but I don't do social media stuff, so I don't really think about people's perception or reaction to
I
me.
think it's
So
me.
I wonder if these podcasts will start changing that about me because I don't think about like how people will perceive it. That's really interesting. Now I'm a little scared. Okay, we got to cancel the podcast, guys. Sorry, it was really nice meeting
No, no,
everybody. Like,
no, no.
bye.
You agreed to this. No, honestly,
No, no, yeah.
I think
So
that all comes, I think that that is just something that I've been struggling with my whole life, right? Is just being weird, like being scared and
okay.
always being afraid that people are judging me. And that's kind of what got me into the whole pinup thing, right? To find that confidence and be okay with people judging me. But I think it's cyclical, kind of like the frosting on the top of a hostess cupcake. You know what I mean? It's those little like things. And so I
Mhm.
think I'm kind of going
Yeah,
through like a needing to reestablish like this okayness being where I'm at. So um this is an
yeah,
exploration in that space for me as well. Just showing up, being a little bit
beautiful.
more real and not having an expectation because I've built a very specific brand for me and it's hard for me to not always be 100% on the brand. And so this is a great spot for me to be
Yeah,
really authentically me in like this free way, but it's a little bit scary. And
that makes
I think
sense.
it's important that I share that it's scary for me because I think a lot of people would feel scary in this space. So I want to be vulnerable here on this podcast and be open and have it
Yes.
be that
Get
other people
get
can
in
see those
here. Put all
things.
your vulnerability out there.
I know, but it like
I love that.
I don't know. Like I would
Yeah.
love to hear from our sliders and see like do you feel like that was something that you related to or not? Let's put a poll up and they can put it in the comments in the show notes, send us a message, anything like that because I would love to see if you guys are feeling that.
Totally. Totally. I feel like I'll bet you anything, like another group of people who will like get this are smokers.
Mm.
Like how sometimes smokers will just like pass through an area, like a smoker's area, just to like smell the scent of cigarettes, kind of.
Mm.
Like, I bet you there are like former smokers who do this kind of thing too. And I'm sure there's other things where people like don't go back to something that they used to do, but like dip their toe into something that kind of like scratches that itch without like throwing them into the deep end of like eating a whole pizza.
Yeah.
But I did want to tell you that Shasta asked, so a friend of ours, she was like, how did you guys like the trip? You know, and I was like, I really didn't check back into like go back over like what you did or didn't like and all that. I said, but Jillian did send me this really sweet message that was like, oh, you reintroduced me to the idea of like smelling like foods that I don't eat anymore. And she was like, that's so sweet. And then a girlfriend of hers was like, that would totally make me just like want to eat the thing. So then it became a separate topic, not about you, but just about like, would it make people like want to eat
Mhm.
that thing more, or would it satisfy them and make them almost feel like they got to eat that thing, like those kinds of things. So it was pretty interesting.
Well,
It was all inspired by
I
you.
do also like, I want to weigh in on that. So I was
Okay.
in the camp of if I smelled it, the longing for it was so strong. And I think maybe so it's been like 11 years now, I think. I don't know, somewhere around that amount of time, right? That I haven't been able to have gluten. So I went through like a full grief cycle. Like full grief. Like I cried over the fact that I couldn't have gluten. And in fact, on the trip I told you something about a recent discovery that I had made that I had been slowly glutening myself. And I like cried to you, and I felt so guilty because
Oh,
I cried over it, and it was just getting one thing removed from me and not an entire category of stuff, which you were so recently diagnosed. Like, how dare I like have a sad moment when you also lost so much in your space with this whole food grief. I do not laugh at me.
oh,
Food grief is real. Hashtag food grief. What are you grieving that you did?
no, you know what? That's I feel like that's a whole different thing. Like something got stolen from you and nobody told you and nobody consulted you. I feel like for me, I haven't had the food grief because it's been really recent and I've been so focused in a different direction that I haven't been thinking about the loss of something so much as like what I'm gaining on the other end yet. The only time I've had like any kind of like true like sadness, or I don't even know if sadness is the right word, but just like frustration or like realization that it's actually a limitation. Because when you're at home, it's not
Right.
really like you control what's
Yep.
in your house. But when we went to have lunch in Santa
Yeah.
Fe, and I realized, and we went to this place because they said they had all this gluten free stuff, and then when you got there, they actually didn't. And then I looked at the menu, and there was really like barely anything I could have. And what was on the menu that I could have, I did not want it. And it's the first time I've gone to a restaurant and been like, I'm not ordering something. And it was like, oh, like reality
Yeah.
sunk in, I think is more so. I was like, I'm actually going to have to deal with this like in real time, real
Mm-hmm.
effects, where things I can't control. So, like, that was the only time I've really had it. Yours, like, you finally found something that you could
Mm.
have,
Yeah.
and then it got taken away from you and you didn't even know because there was like somebody should have sent you a direct
Right.
announcement, Jillian. They should have come to your door like a bankruptcy situation and been like, ma'am, we have to advise you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
So I feel
yeah.
like I need to own up to what the thing is. I only got into this item a couple of years ago after trying it so many years previous. I checked the ingredients and then I just stopped checking the ingredients. And I just, you know, whatever would have this every once in a while as a treat. And apparently, this change happened years ago. And I've been doing this for years. But recently, I was so stressed at my last job. I was totally just like, comforting myself with I'm embarrassed to say it out loud, but we're here to be vulnerable, right, Natasha?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let's get
All
into it,
right.
babe.
It
Yes.
was twin snakes. It's Haribo twin snakes. They changed their like corn syrup to wheat or corn syrup, or wheat and corn syrup. And I have been wondering why. I was like, oh my gosh, it must be all the extra sugar I'm eating. But I don't think it was the sugar. I think that all of my symptoms were the actual change in the syrup. So finding this treat that felt like a super special treat. I don't know what it is about twin snakes. They just feel like I'm giving myself a little reward. Okay? It's like, okay, you made it through a hard day. Here, have a little sweet, have a little sour. I don't know. Like, it's just, it felt rewarding. And I like biting their little heads off. I liked their shape. I liked the texture of them, that they're kind of like firm because they're like those Haribo gold bears, but they're like the twin snakes, they're like a different shape. It's so much better. You get a little bit of sweet, you get a little bit of sour. Like, there's nothing better right now, okay? And now I can't have it. And it got stolen from me. So I cried to Natasha with like literal actual tears as we were getting on the freeway.
That's right. That's right. Oh my gosh. I just can't believe they did that to you. Like, how could you guys do this and not like send out a notification directly to Jillian? Probably your biggest purchaser of twin snakes in America,
Like,
at
shame
least.
on me that I did not check at all in the past, I don't know, like 6 years or something. Like, but
Well, I guess it's a good lesson that you can never stop checking labels. And I'm glad that, well, I'm not glad it happened to you, but I'm glad I found out from you early on, because I am somebody I would have read the label and then never checked it up again, because I'm like, now I know I can
yeah.
eat this. I would not continue. Like, who's going to continue reading labels? Apparently me. But like, I would not have, other than like this happening to you. I'd have been like, nope, I know what's in there. There's no gluten,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, and
So,
I mean, that was one of those items that I just totally like did. And then there was another time where I was like, there's no way that gluten, like, it was Mamba. Do you know those Mamba chews or whatever? They're kind of like
yeah,
Starburst, but they're that. I was like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, I haven't had those in years. And I just thought, oh, it's a Starburst. There's no way that there's wheat in there. Yes. Yes, there is. Blah. And it wasn't even worth it. They're totally disgusting. I don't even know how they're still on the shelf. I'm gonna be honest. They're like dull. They're gross. They taste like wax. Like, why? And then I glutened myself over that shit. Ugh. As you can tell, this podcast is not sponsored by Mamba. I don't even know if that's the name of it, but
Or
or
Haribo.
Haribo. Yeah.
Or Haribo. It is Mamba. It is Mambas. Yeah,
Mamba.
I saw them at a counter the other day at a gas
See,
station.
I don't like
Oh,
Mambas,
guess
but
what?
I do like twin snakes. See, like a black Mamba.
They're all related. It's all snake related, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So long as the remaining snakes in your life get to
What? I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
the black mamba.
Yeah. Like from the movie The Kill Bill.
I feel like that was the nickname of a certain body part of a certain human in your life at one point.
No, I don't think so. Was it?
I'm pretty
I don't
sure.
think so. I don't think so.
We can talk about it
No,
later.
I really don't. I don't think that it was, but maybe it was.
Well,
Okay,
in my
if
mind,
it
it
was,
was.
like, I legitimately do not remember, but I am willing to say, oh, I know about this. This is not the Black Mamba. No, it's
Oh,
Jonaconda.
oh, ah! See, the snake related. That's all.
Jonaconda. Yes.
Jonaconda.
The biggest.
So that's all. That's all. That I just hope the rest of the snakes in general in your
Yes.
life get to continue to be in them. I hope that
Yes.
those remain gluten
All
free
snakes
for the
in
rest of your
general will
days.
remain in my life.
Oh my god. Well, speaking of like food you can't have, my credit card number got stolen 2 days ago, and I just found out today. I went to the doctor today and went to pay my like copay, and my credit card was declined. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I open up my app. Somebody had spent enough money with mobile orders from Taco Bell and Chipotle over the last 2 days now to like fed a full football team breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like they just hardcore just kept going back in for like the Chipotle and the Taco Bell and the Chipotle and the Taco Bell. And instead of me being mad about somebody like staking my account number, I was just really irritated that I couldn't have any tacos. I really want.
You're like, bitch, I had to pay for these, and
Yeah, so like credit card company took care of it. It's totally fine. Like no like major issue, right? But that was my reaction. Like I was like, how dare you? I want a taco. And I'm like, I hope they're full. I hope that Taco Bell ran right through them, just like the mudslide at the beginning of this call. Like,
and there we are, full circle. Maybe that's a great place to cut this off for today.
oh, yeah. Well, guys, it was so fun having this first podcast with you. I hope that you had as much fun as Jillian and I did. As you'll probably notice, after the slide, we kind of always need to come back and clean up the trail. So please join us in our next episode where we, well, not me, but us, we royally sober up and tie all those loose ends for you.
Don't forget to bring the baby wipes,
So
Natasha.
what we'll do, they're always handy, always handy. But guys, yeah, since that's our next episode, Jillian talked about it a little bit earlier, but basically what we're going to do is we're going to kind of come back to the topics we talked about in this episode and go, where did these mudslides end that we did not finish them off? And so we'll give you all the juicy information and the behind the scenes details of like, what was the final outcome of certain conversations and thought processes.
So be sure to subscribe and leave comments about anything from the show.
Jillian, I had so much fun today.
Me too. We'll see you soon.
All right.